Cash motivate, like Ellie Rowling. Justice so great while it slides skate. Living life fast, can't press the brakes. Been in the curb, like I'm away.
No More Sleep Game Script is all about helping fantasy football owners with their week-to-week lineups, rather than focusing on things like players who can be retired, injured, fined, dropped, traded, okay, whatever the case is. You need to focus on things like game script, data. We give you information so you can make an informed decision, okay? So coaches don't change. They don't get injured. Therefore, we're going to focus on game script when it comes to sit start, not the people. Today's video is going to be focused on the Bills versus the Jets, and this video is sponsored by FanLife, the sports app, www.fanlife.com. Okay, we're going to focus on the Bills side first. We'll give an example of how these numbers can mesh together and what that means, and then we'll go to the Jets side, give the numbers, and give you an example of what that means. The way you use this is you look at your strengths and weaknesses of your starter, look at the draft capital you got that person at. If you got someone very high, right, first, second, third round, then you expect them to start probably every week. And you got some guys that you can plug and play in. If you got a guy in the 12th round, 10th round, all right, and the matchup looks great, doesn't mean that you automatically start that person. It means think about it, okay? And then make a smart decision. You really weigh it, okay? Now, on the Bills side of the ball, there are some things here that are some positives, but there are a ton of negatives on the Bills side of the ball. Ton. So, unfortunately, I have to go through the negatives in order for you to even see the positives because there's so much negative. So, Bills were dead last in completion percentage, dead last in receiving touchdowns per game, dead last in receptions per game, almost dead last, so second worst when it came to interceptions thrown per game. This offense was horrific last year. Giving all of that and the fact that the Jets, who they're playing, their opponent in week one, the Jets were bottom 10 in receptions of 20 plus, okay, and 40 plus. The Jets were top 10 in passes deflected, and Jets were second best against third down, but fifth worst at the first and second down. So being able to stop their opponents on first and second down. If you combine all of that, what you can expect is about 3 receptions of 20 plus yards in this game. And you can expect the Bills, from a game script perspective, to rely on the receiver who has these 4 things: a high catch rate, a good target separation, 11.9 receiving average, as close as that as possible, and the person with the most 20 plus receiving yards. So if the Bills can do that, here's what's going to happen. They're going to rely on that individual a ton in the second quarter and the rest of the game. The first quarter, this person is going to look like they, are not getting any kind of opportunities or making any progress. Because again, this team is going to exploit first and second downs. They're going to eventually realize that the Jets cannot stop first and second down, but the Jets are really good on third and fourth down. So in the second quarter, third and fourth quarter, you can expect the person who's probably going to do the best on that Bills team in this game will have a high catch rate, high target separation, have the closest receiving average to 11.9, and has had the most 20 plus, 40 plus receptions in their career. And well, not in their career, last year. An example of a person who has pretty much all of that on the Bills squad is Zay Jones. Are we saying start Zay Jones? No, we're not saying start Zay Jones. We're saying from a game script perspective, if Zay Jones is playing in this game and he gets the snap share versus his peers, he has a higher chance data-wise of being the most successful in this game. Now, if you have Zay Jones, you probably got him late, which means you have to think about draft capital of the other guys you got. Do the same exercise with them. And if you do that exercise and you say, wow, the odds of this person, regardless of the draft capital, the odds of this person, you know, succeeding. So maybe they're playing like someone like the Bears. Okay, the odds of them succeeding is so low. Then you plug in someone like a Zay Jones because statistically speaking, he matches perfectly well against the opponent this week. Let's move over to the Bills side. The Bills, the running backs that they have, it's good. It's a good thing that these running backs. Well, actually, I'm on the Jets side now. We already talked about the Bills. Okay, so Zay Jones as the example there. On the Jets side, the running backs that they have, okay, has not seen a lot of defenders in the box. So 6.5 defenders in the box is what they average when you look at the entire group of running backs. That's decent. And the Jets was 8th ranked as far as the longest time their defense was on the field. All right. So the Jets defense typically is on the field for the majority of the time of possession, which means the offense can expect in this game, the Jets offense can expect to not be on the field as long. So they have to be efficient. The Jets is going to have to rely on a running back on the running back side of the ball who can deal with the Bills defense, because from a rushing perspective, the Bills was top 10 in rushing average. They don't allow a lot of rushing yards per attempt. And that's despite them having allowed the 9th most attempts, okay? So top 10 in rushing average, they finish, despite them allowing the 9th most attempts. So efficiency, not looking good so far for the running back so far against the Bills. The Bills was top 10 against receptions. Okay, so they can defend receptions as well. They allowed 19.6 per game last year, and that was top 10. And the Bills are good at deflecting passes. They were 7th best at that. So from a game script perspective, you can expect Sam Darnold or whoever's starting in that game to rely on the running back. However, the running back cannot be relied upon for running. They're going to have to be relied upon in the receiving game. Okay? So 2 things the running back needs. The running back needs a high catch rate, and they need a high receiving average, because in order to be successful in this game as a running back in the receiving department, it's not to line up as a running back, it's to line up pretty much out. Okay, so almost like how you see in the shotgun. So out, left or right, or completely lined up as a receiver like in a slot or as an X or Y. Running backs that do that typically have a high receiving average because they're catching the ball as a receiver. So if you can get the running back who has the highest catch rate and the highest receiving average, you have a higher chance of them being successful in this game versus the other guys you can start. An example of that is Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell has an 80% catch rate. I think it's the highest in the NFL. Okay, when you count what he did in 2017. And when you compare Ty Montgomery and Bell from a receiving average perspective, Bell had a 7.7 receiving average versus Ty Montgomery's 6.5. I expect both of them, and Ty Montgomery has hands too. He's 65% catch rate. That's good for a running back. I expect both of them to be used. We don't know what kind of injuries might happen, so I'm not going to focus on just them because something could happen. But the person that's going to be successful is the one that can catch the ball as a running back, because running the ball is probably not going to work against the Bills. Now, the Jets receivers. The Bills was top 10, like I said, against, receiving, and they were the 7th best in passes deflected. They were also good against receiving touchdowns and receiving yards per game. So the Jets receivers averaged 55% catch rate last year. That's very bad. They couldn't catch a cold last year. and the receivers' target separation was amongst the lowest. And when you look at receiving groups across the NFL, they did not get a lot of target separation. So what you can expect in this game is the Jets receivers will have to win contested catches. So if you have to start a Jets receiver, and again, Robbie Anderson, pretty sure he's out this game. But if you have to start a receiver from the Jets side of the ball, you need to look for three things. You need to get the one with the most target share, because none of them can catch. So they need double the amount of targets to even get in the same sentence as other receivers in the NFL, because they drop pretty much half of what's thrown to them. So they need double the amount of target share. So get the one with the most target share, get the one with the most contested catches, with the highest contested catch rate. So forget how many contested targets they get. It's how efficient they are with that, because the Bills will be all over them, and they need to win that. So contested catch rate. And then lastly, the ones with the lowest receiving average. Same reason why I told you why, that the Jets running backs would need to get involved in the receiving game. Well, yeah, you can expect if the Jets receivers are going to be successful, it's not going to be on big plays. It's probably going to be on those short passes. So you don't want the one who's used to running deep routes. You want the one who's used to running the short routes. So you look at low receiving average. Again, most target share, highest contested catch rate percentage, lowest receiving average. An example of who pretty much match all three is Jamison Crowder. Are we saying start Jamison Crowder? No. We're saying on paper, from a game script perspective, Jamison Crowder, if you have him, you have no one else. You have to start a receiver on the Jets. We will start a receiver like Jamison Crowder. We don't know what could happen. He might not be in the game. But a receiver like Jamison Crowder who has those strengths: target share, contested catch rate, and a low receiving average. His receiving average is actually good, but when you compare him to others on the New York Jets, is actually one of the lowest, even though in the NFL it's high. So that's how you do this, okay? That's the Bills versus Jets. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're going to be doing week 2 very soon. For week 1, we'll probably get to about 40% of the games. In week 2, we'll increase that to about 60%. And then by week 4, we'll be covering 100% of all the games. But 60% of it will be on YouTube, and the rest would be in a different platform. Okay, we don't know what that platform is going to be at, but that's why you need to subscribe. Okay, and also hit the like button. Drop a comment if there are specific matchups in week 1, week 2, week 3, even week 4 that you want us to cover, because we are going to go based off of random metrics on which ones to cover. All right, so you need to let us know. No more sleep. Game script.
Get it, go get it, I got it. Get it, go get it, I got it. Get it, go get it.